You know, Dumbledore is such an iconic character in this world.
Dumbledore is wise, eccentric, with a twinkle in his eye.
He's just the god-like figure here. Full of wisdom, tough, hard, determined, paternal, wise.
Dumbledore is clever, is gifted, and he's very mysterious.
There's a sense of sort of chaos and brilliance that is inside Albus's mind.
Well, he's a man of action, isn't he? And a sympathetic listener. And a subtle doer.
Dumbledore in the Potter books was this charming, wonderful, wise, knowledgeable, witty character.
And Dumbledore's ever-presence is right through the books. But you don't see him very often. They talk about him a lot and his magic and being a genius and so. When you do see him, he philosophizes about life and he's a wise old fart.
When we first meet him, we just are incredibly charmed by him, and we perceive him throughout most of the Potter series to be the person who does know what's going on, who does have a clear moral compass, who's sort of uncomplicated in his wisdom. Actually, he's a deeply, deeply complicated person who comes from a deeply complicated and tragic past.
No one really understands why this man is a school teacher. You know, he appeared to be born to be the preeminent wizard in the world. He appeared to be born to become the head of the International Confederation, to embrace a role that would make him part of wizarding history. And he disappeared to this school in Scotland and stayed there. Why?
He and Gellert Grindelwald had really quite extreme ideas until Albus backed away. So he lives with those dark secrets. He lives with a sense of guilt.
I went along because? Because I was in love with you.
The relationship between Grindelwald and Dumbledore is key to making Dumbledore Dumbledore. He has this dark past in which he flirted with Grindelwald's ideology and was briefly and intensely very, very close to him.
He originally made a pact with Grindelwald through a blood troth, in which he agreed to an ideology that would subjugate Muggles. And he subsequently stepped away from that, but still somehow he feels responsible for creating that ideology, even though he's now, at this later stage in his life, he's disowned it.
You really do feel Dumbledore's longing. He's still in love with this man. And yet, he also is filled with regret because he knows that the relationship they had led Grindelwald on a path and led Dumbledore to make mistakes.
He was possibly the best of his generation, who then had all this drama thrown at him. I think he's found solace at Hogwarts as a teacher.
But you know, happiness can be found even in the darkest of times. If one only remembers to turn on the light.
However bleak things get, Dumbledore's always got that slightly mischievous side.
Dumbledore has a twinkle in his eye. He's got a sense of fun and mischief, which is something Joe Rowling always wrote about.
He's got this spark. He's got this kind of playful quality to him.
That was fun.
Whilst dealing with things in which the stakes are ridiculously high.
He has great fun with magic. That to him, it's so effortless. I think he takes it very seriously, but I think he enjoys it.
Dumbledore is playful, almost like an old hippie.
Wonderfully irreverent, full of great stories.
That is one of my more brilliant ideas. And between you and me, that is saying something.
He's got a real checkered history of being able to encourage people to do crazy things, as great leaders do. But we love him for that, nonetheless.
He acts very cleverly, doesn't he? Because all he does is he's thinking one thing and looking like another.
He relies on, and to a degree, manipulates people around him to help enable his cause. But what I always like to think about when I dwell on that is that he's also someone that draws out unknown qualities of the people around him. He's not so much an order giver as someone who encourages people to believe in their own ability.
It's hard to resist him because he's charming and he's funny and he's kind of compelling and beguiling.
If you succeed tonight, more than one innocent life may be spared. 3 turns should do it, I think. He's all-knowing and all-powerful, isn't he? And so I suppose it is a bit like King Lear. But he's a bit nicer than King Lear. King Lear's a bit miserable, isn't he? He doesn't like his children, right? Whereas Dumbledore's wonderful.
Dumbledore is definitely very much the father figure. This is the person who rescued him from, the drudgery that was the Dursleys, who brought him to this place, which is the first place that he really could consider home.
It is not our abilities that show what we truly are. It is our choices.
Harry's not a hero. He's a hero, but he's not a hero in the Superman sense of the word hero. Hogwarts has kind of been like a safe house because, it's kind of been impenetrable. Because Dumbledore...
Help will always be given at Hogwarts to those who deserve it.
What I love about Joe's characters is they're never one thing.
Dumbledore has all the warmth and the wit, but he's also carrying some tragedy from the past.
There's a sea of complexities going on there. He's cheeky and curious and anarchic and brilliant.
He's the powerful good, isn't he? The one you can lean on.
I miss Dumbledore the most because he came from I always feel like he came from somewhere back here. It felt quite automatic writing when I wrote Dumbledore. He was telling me things I needed to hear.
Professor, is this all real? Or is it just happening inside my head?
Of course it's happening inside your head, Harry. Why should that mean that it's not real?